In the USSR, the radio used to announce the time in all time zones of the country. They say a drunkard is listening to the radio. In Moscow, it is 3 p.m. In this city, there is this time. In that city, there is that time. And in Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, it's midnight. What a mess in the country, says the drunkard. People ask, why are there so many movements within Judaism? Why don't we have a single centralized community with a hierarchy of power? Among the Jews who are called Orthodox, there are many movements, but they all follow the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law. The differences between Orthodox groups are in small details of the law, which are not established by the Shulchan Aruch, in customs, or in their approach. Just like, for example, in medicine, there are the bases that all doctors will agree with, but then there are situations in which different physicians may have different approaches to treatment, or there are details in which different doctors will have different opinions. But with all this, we still have a question. Why are there so many movements inside Orthodox Judaism? There are Hasidim, and within the Hasidim, there are different types of Hasidim. And then there are Lithuanian Jews, and then there are more than Orthodox, and so on and so forth. Why is the world Jewish community not centralized? Rabbi Chaim Soloveitchik, also known as Chaim Brisker, was one of the leading figures of the Lithuanian movement. And he helped to establish the Agudat Israel organization in the early 20th century. It was planned to be the central body of the world Jewry. Chaim Brisker later abandoned this idea and even withdrew his support from Agudat Israel. He explained it with the following metaphor. In ancient times, he said, everyone used to light their house with candles. If someone would run out of candles, he would be able to borrow them from his neighbor. Nowadays, we have electricity. Of course, in general, electricity is more convenient and much more reliable. However, power plants also have interruptions. But people are so used to relying on electric power that they stopped keeping candles in their houses. And one mishap at the electric station is enough to make everyone go dark. The rabbi said that with regards to the physical light, of course, we need to do what is convenient and more reliable. But as far as our spiritual light is concerned, the situation is different. Our nation is constantly confronted with challenges. Jews and Judaism have always had to overcome many obstacles. We need to make sure that I always have someone else to rely on in case if my source of spiritual power will fail. Because otherwise, one accident at the central station can, God forbid, leave the whole world without the light of the Torah. When every house, that is every community, has its own candles, then these candles turn out to be different. Some have wax candles, other oil lamps. Some have brighter ones, others have dimmer ones. Everyone picks a type of candle that suits him. And we end up having different movements within Judaism. But this is the way how people and communities can express their individuality. This metaphor has one more important lesson. If I rely on the electricity, I don't need to think much about where is my light coming from. Using candles, though, makes everyone be in charge of his own light and caring for lighting his own surroundings. We do not have some big guy who we can rely on for our Jewish life. Each community must provide its own candles. Each one of us is responsible for the Jewish light in our surroundings.